You asked, and I am here to deliver. I had so many people respond when I asked for what is your favorite trope in romances, although I did get more responses over on my TikTok account rather than over here on YouTube. But so many of you all were fully on board, love the forbidden, taboo tropes in romances, and I am here for it. So today I have a big ol' list of my favorite age gap romances, which I realized I have actually made this video before. If you're a longtime subscriber, you may have remembered that. However, I did end up taking that video down because it did contain some authors that are problematic that I do not support any longer. So this is a great reminder that this is a perfect time to do an updated list, and I'm so excited for this. Age gap is one of my absolute all-time favorite tropes in romances. So I feel all of you people out there that love the forbidden, taboo, I love that. That is my bread and butter. I eat it up. But before we get into all of these romances, please make sure if you like this video, you are hitting the thumbs up button and also subscribing if you haven't already. I post videos every Thursday and Sunday, and we talk about romance and do recommendation videos like this. I do a lot of unboxing videos and book hauls, and it's just a fabulous time here. And you definitely should subscribe and keep watching my videos. Thank you. I will say, again, if you have been watching several of my videos before, or if this is your new first time coming here, hi, hello, I am trying to diversify my reading and read more from non-white authors. So I will caveat this video by saying that is not happening in this video. I apparently have not read any BIPOC authors that have written age gaps, or if I have, I don't really remember them. So just bear that in mind. And also, if you have read any books by BIPOC authors that feature age gaps, leave a comment down below because I need to read them. I need to know. So also know, because I am on the search for more, and there's a ton more age gap, like just making this list. There are several authors on here that write a ton of age gap stories that I have not read all of them. So you can be sure that there is going to be another age gap video at some point in the future, a part 2 that I am determined will also have some BIPOC authors featured on that. Okay? Okay. And this list is very long, like very, very long. I have so many age gap romances on here to recommend to you. Like I said, it's my favorite. My list is like a full page. And I had to cut it off at that because I was like, this video is going to be so long. So bear with me. But first up, we have Gianna Darling. She writes a lot of different age gap romances. I believe that is most of her repertoire is age gap romances. My favorites are from the Fallen Men series. I have not recommended this in quite a while, but it is one of my favorite series of all time. I need to do a reread, especially because at some point she's going to be putting up more books in this series. But again, every single one of the books in this story is an age gap romance. This is a motorcycle club romance series, and it starts off with Lessons in Corruption. This one is a reverse age gap. Is a teacher, a high school English teacher, and one of her students who happens to be the son of the president of the MC. But my favorite of this series is book 2, which is the president of the motorcycle club, the MC, and the mayor's daughter, who is also like in high school when this happens. So very large age gap, but it's my favorite. I love it so much. Then, of course, I couldn't make an age gap recommendation video without putting Birthday Girl in here. Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is the OG of age gap romances. If you are diving into age gap romances, this is one of the books that you have to read. This is what started my love for age gap romances. This is a standalone story. It is also an ex's dad romance, which also I think started my love for the whole ex's dad trope, which just so you know, there's going to be a lot of those on here as well. This one is our female main character and her boyfriend. They are running low on funds. They can't afford their apartment, so they end up moving in with her boyfriend's dad. But her boyfriend is really shitty, and she's realizing that, and she becomes closer and forms this bond with his dad and finds herself wanting to be with the dad more than her actual boyfriend. They do break up in this story before the female main character gets with the male main character. There is a little bit of a slow burn with this as well, but it's just such a good story. Hush Hush by Lucia Franco. This is another OG age gap romance. This one, our female main character is a student in college, and she's just trying to make some extra money to pay for her classes and pay for her apartment. Her best friend is basically an escort, and so she gets a job also doing this and comes across a client who is much older than her, but they quickly fall in love. And one of the spiciest age gap romances, and I love it so much. Then we have Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. Pam Godwin also has a few different age gap romance stories. This one is my favorite, of course. This is another student teacher romance. They're in high school. Our female main character has gotten a scholarship to this prestigious like art academy and to play piano, and she attracts the attention of her curmudgeon piano teacher at school, who finds out that she comes from not the greatest place. And so he vows he wants to protect her, and they start a relationship, and it's just so good. Then we have Chasing the Wild by Elliot Rose. This is another one that I believe most of the books in this series are age gap. I have only read this first book of the series, but don't worry, I'll be reading the other ones because this one was so good. This is another ex's dad romance. Our female main character is pissed off at her ex-boyfriend because he ended up taking out a loan in her name and causing her to go into debt. So she had found out like an address for him, which she didn't realize was his dad's address. And so she goes there to confront him to pay her back and get her out of these debts. He's not there, and she ends up getting snowed in on this mountain ranch place that his dad owns. She's there with his dad, so they're forced proximity, they're snowed in together. She helps work with him, and they form a romance, of course, and it's super spicy, and it was great. Then we have The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. This series also has a few different age gap romances in it. This is the start of the Nashville Neighborhood series. Nikki Sloan is another author that writes a ton of spicy romances. And this is another ex's dad romance because our female main character is dating her boyfriend, and they hang out at his dad's house quite a bit. But again, kind of like with Birthday Girl, he's an asshole, does not treat her well. They break up, and then comes the dad, who is a hotshot doctor who wants to comfort her, and they have a spicy romance together, and it's fabulous. And we have Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie Cole. This is another author. I have actually 2 recommendations by her on this list. She also writes, I believe, primarily age gap romances because that's all I've seemed to have read from her. Don't Kiss the Bride is a standalone romance. Our female main character is another character in high school, but she has a lot of not only mental health issues going on, but she also has these chronic illnesses going on. Our male main character is a construction worker, and they're working on a house across the street from the high school that she goes to. And one day when she is going to school, she ends up collapsing, and he helps her rescue her and take her to the hospital when they realize like she does not have any means to pay. She definitely needs some medication and just health things to help her out, but she cannot afford those. So they decide to get married so that she can hop on board for his health insurance so that she can get the care that she needs. And goodness, ends up becoming a romance. I mean, obviously. And then also from Carrie and Cole, we have Torn, which is the start of a series that is a 2-book series currently. I think at one point, Carrie and Cole did have plans to continue this series, but I haven't heard anything about when that might happen. But for all intents and purposes, this one is another, again, age gap. This one is Dad's best friend. Our female main character has been obsessed with her dad's best friend, who is also kind of a surrogate uncle to her, has been obsessed with him her entire life. Her father had her when they were very young, I think at like 14, 15. So they have that 15-year age gap. And then finally, again, when she's in high school, like I said, I mean, y'all know what you're getting into with an age gap romance. I mean, come on. When she's in high school, things start to change a little bit between them. Their friendship starts to become a little bit more, but he doesn't want to mess anything up with his friendship with her dad. So they have to navigate how to go about that. Then Sara Cate, also a beloved author of mine, has several age gap romances. A couple of my favorites, Gravity. This one is a little bit of a love triangle type romance. Our female main character, she is a sex worker, and the dad of this, and not her dad, but the dad of this love triangle scenario, he hires her to basically be the companion for his son, because him and his son are grieving the death of his other son and her twin sister. Like they've known each other, something bad happened. They're all kind of in this process of grieving, but it's to the point that his son, he fears for his life, that he might take his life. So he hires her to be his companion, his son's companion, and hopefully get him out of this funk. However, he also has the hots for her. So it's this love triangle between our female main character, the son, and the dad. Then we also have Praise, which is the start of the Salacious Players Club series, which is a fantastic series. I absolutely adore this series. This one, our first installment, is another ex's dad romance. Our female main character has broken up with her boyfriend and she's needing a job. And so his dad hires her to be his personal assistant, and part of that ends up involving her being a service submissive to him, and so spicy. He also is part owner of a sex club, and it's just spicy good times. Then we have the Daddy Issue series by Cleo White. Cleo White is another author that writes primarily age gap romances. I have so many of her other books on my TBR to read that I need to get to, but this one is a series of novellas. So these are really quick to get through. They're all like holiday novellas. The first one focuses around Christmas. Our female main character and male main character, they work together, but the male main character is her best friend's dad. So of course they don't want to start anything because she, doesn't want to step on her best friend's toes. But it's Christmas time. They end up getting snowed in together, and then they also end up matching on this dating site. And then as soon as they figure out that they match, it's like no holds barred. They're both like in, and it's so spicy. Again, all of the romances in this series are age gap. The other books feature her other best friends, which are his daughters. That is so good. Then we have Ward Willing by Amanda Richardson. This is one that I have recently finished. This is book 3 of her Ravaged Castle series. Each of these stories are standalones, but they feature a different brother of this family unit. I do think you can read this one as a standalone, but you will not get as much of the context of their family dynamic and their horrible father that they came from. Book 2 features a lot more of that, of how cruel their father was to these 5 brothers and how much of a bond they have formed. But again, so you can go into this, you just might be missing a little bit of that. I also recommend the other books of the series, but they are not age gap. So this one is a juicy one. This one is a ward and guardian romance. Our male main character is the guardian to his best friend's daughter. His best friend and her wife, his wife ended up passing away when our female main character, I believe, was like 15 or 16. Now she's in college and she likes to poke his buttons because they have a mutual attraction to one another, but he's like, this is wrong. I shouldn't want her, because he's known her all over her life. This also has that professor student trope in it because he is an English professor. She ends up taking one of his classes. Spicy times along with that. This also features BDSM in it. She is in the kink lifestyle, and he does not realize he is until he ends up taking a quiz and realizing that he might be more kinky than he realized. So at one point, when they do start to give into their desires, it becomes this kind of teaching aspect between the two of them, of her teaching the ropes of kink. And I thought it was fabulous. Then we have Mariposa by Lexi Axelson. Now I put this one on this list. This one is more of like a maybe. I don't know if you've ever seen those different videos where people are doing like yes, no, maybes of the books that they've read. This one is a maybe. This did hook me in, but there are some things that I personally didn't like, but maybe some of you might like them. So that's why this is on here. This one is another ex's dad romance, but this is a military romance. Our female main character joins the military and she's determined to get into this like special ops of the Marines, I believe, to honor her father, who was in this special ops corps and he passed away. And our male main character knows that she dated his son and they have an estranged relationship. So he doesn't want to do anything to damage his already fragile relationship with his son, but he also can't help but be completely drawn to our female main character, especially they bond over their loneliness and their mutual grief because he has lost so many people from being in the military for so many years. So this one you might like if you like a very angsty and emotional story. This definitely took me on a roller coaster. It did hook me from the very beginning. I did have some issues with certain plot points. And for me, I kind of got irritated because this has a big back and forth of will they, won't they for the entire book. But again, if you really like an angsty, emotional type story, you might really like this one. So that is why this is on here. Oh, and she is a BIPOC author. I completely forgot about that. So there's one. And then we have Older by Jennifer Hartman. This one takes place in the 90s. This one is a best friend's dad romance. Our two characters end up meeting at a party and hitting it off and really wanting to be together, but they end up not like sleeping with each other or anything. And then a few days later, they find out that she is his daughter's best friend. And so they stop their they don't want to give in to each other or their attraction because they don't want to upset his daughter. But, of course, they can't help but give in. This one is another one that is a very angsty kind of story. So if you like angst in your romances in your books, this one is a good one to pick up. Then we have Daisy Jane. Daisy Jane is another author that writes a lot of age gap romances. I have not read a ton of books from this author, but I do want to read more from her. So I do have only one book to recommend from her. That is Please Sir. This is the first book of, I want to say it's the Bluebell Bruiser series. I might be wrong on that. But it's like small town high school, but not like with a high schooler. He is a single dad. He is a leather worker, a cowboy-esque kind of person. And she is the cheer coach at the high school and is his daughter's cheer coach. And they start to form a bond because he is widowed. His daughter has lost her mother and is in that stage of her life, like becoming a teenager, and he just doesn't know how to talk to his daughter, and their relationship is really strained. So that's where our female main character of the story kind of comes in, because she's helping to serve that type of role in his daughter's life of somebody that she can trust and turn to. So that becomes a little bit sticky of navigating with them being so attracted to one another, not wanting to step on his daughter's toes and like betray her and betray her trust and all of that. But this one was also super spicy. Daisy Jane writes lots of books with various kinks in them. So you can know that going in. And then the last book that I have on this recommendation list, which again, I'm sure is not going to be the end, there will be a part 2 at some point, is going to be 1% of You by Michelle Gross. This is a single mom romance. Our female main character just broke up with her boyfriend, but she's pregnant and she has I think she's got a son or a little girl. She's got a little like toddler child that she's trying to take care of. She's working her butt off. She's also going to school to become a nurse. And she has this not great run-in with our male main character, who immediately judges her. And they realize that they're neighbors and they just keep having run-ins with each other. And he finds himself like wanting to have those run-ins and just being so fascinated with her, and finally realizing like his prejudices that he had against her were wrong. And at some point, like, he decides that he wants to help her out because she's going through so much and she is such a tough woman. And I love this one so much. It has a little bit of a slow burn to it as well. It's chef's kiss. It is so good. So that is going to be all of my recommendations for you all. It was a lot. It was a lot. So if you have any other recommendations, or again, if you know of any others by BIPOC authors, leave a comment down below so I can try to check those out. I love hearing from you all. But otherwise, that is going to be it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.